welcome to episode 41 or whatever this episode is.
41. Oh god, it's this is our longest series now. It has been
Pretty
for a
long.
minute, but we've just had a pretty real talk with Akira
Yeah, man.
In the park.
Yeah, that's where all the good talks happen, man. I'm telling you.
Park talks, yeah.
Park talks. Park talks.
It'd have been cool if he still had a beer too, but
Yeah.
you know, what ifs.
It's just unfortunate that that doesn't really count for much in this world. Oh. Well, no. I disagree. I think... Sure, maybe in the grand scheme of it, it doesn't. But the best thing you can do is live a virtuous life. That's just the principle of stoicism right there.
Yes.
You know, just live a virtuous life. Be kind, be wise, be strong.
I thought stoicism was just not worrying about things you can't control.
That too. That's
Okay.
another aspect of it. But it's also about... It's a form of... It kind of stems... I suppose it depends. It kind of stems from... I don't know. I'm not a philosophy expert. I dabble. But, you know, it's... it comes from like idealism and living your
Part-time
life.
gamers, part-time philosophers is
Yeah,
what we do.
living your life through pursuing ideals rather than just being practical. It's kind of a bit of both. You're kind of trying to be practical, but also upholding ideals as well. It's not good to be overly nihilistic. Anyway. When I said that I was leaving for Scotland, I was doing it because it was a good position opened up in our company's headquarters. When our folks told me that we were at their place, though, they also gave Lilly a summons to rejoin them in Inverness. Oh, no.
No way. Her evasiveness when asked about her future, that awkwardness that had steadily grown between us, that uncharacteristic outburst of anger, all of them suddenly fit into place.
Oh, shit.
The same family that she reminisced about after Hanako's birthday party, the same family that left her and Akira to themselves after taking flight to greener pastures. Now I feel stupid for never cornering Lilly on what was bugging her. I'd never even considered if something had happened during our trip to her family's home at Inverness. And now, a sense of unease grows in my chest. If her family has summoned her to join them in Scotland, all the way on the other side of the earth, has she accepted?
Lilly hasn't told me whether she plans to accept. And it seems she hasn't told you either. That's why I called you down here to talk, Hissa. Yeah.
Context, huh? I sit back, my feelings of worry and frustration no doubt written all over my face.
Oh, bro, I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine this situation. Like, oh. Lily's a strong person, Hissau, but she's not infallible. I guess it's my job to worry about her being her older sister, but I think that you deserve to know.
I understand.
You okay? You sound depressed.
No, I'm just thinking.
That's good. Thinking is good. Being rash won't get you anywhere. True.
She looks at her watch, barely moving her wrist. Yeah, it is kind of true.
I've got to go. Will you be okay?
I'll be fine, don't worry. I'll have to talk to Lilly about it and get everything sorted out. She gives a smile, but it doesn't feel all that genuine or sincere. Really, both of us are dancing around the fact that Lily's on the precipice of the biggest decision of her life, and is trying to take the entire burden on herself.
Oh.
Part of that burden is the matter of our relationship. By the time I look up, Akira's already walking off with her hand held up, alchemist style. For the first time in a long while, I finally have an answer to something. Perhaps not even that, but at least I now have the right question to ask. Will you leave or stay?
Da, 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 da. Nah, nah, sorry.
This indecision's bugging me. It's the middle up, it set me free. It's exactly who I'm supposed to be. I don't know which clothes even fit me. All right, get on with it.
Yeah, sorry, I was waiting for you to finish.
You did not have to wait for me to finish.
No, I had to. It was glorious.
Oh, okay. Oh shit. Hurry, Lily.
I'm moving as fast as I can.
I can barely make out Lily's voice over the deafening pounding of the rain. Even though I dislike pulling her around, the situation calls for it. I've turned forward, my free hand over my head in a futile attempt to keep at least my hair dry. My vision seems to be in grayscale. This really is rotten weather for summer, and the last kind of climate I'd want for a date. A pity. I'd even checked the weather forecast beforehand, one of the very few times I've ever done so, only for it to say that Sunday afternoon would be fine. Looking to Lily, her shoulders are by now completely drenched, with her right hand holding tightly to mine and her left gripping her retracted cane. This horrid downpour came on just as we were between our destination and Yamaku, so we decided to try rushing the rest of the distance rather than doubling back. Entirely unused to running this fast, Lily's using all her concentration just to avoid tripping over.
Hisso, do you know where we're going?
Even she's reduced to shouting to try and be heard over the combined noise of the wind and the rain.
The shot! Oh, sorry. Fuck.
The rest of my voice is completely drowned out by an even heavier burst of rain.
The what?
The Shanghai!
How far is it?
It shouldn't be far now. It doesn't take long before I call out to her once again. It looks like we're safe. It's just up ahead. I quickly pull up to a stop just in front of the familiar exterior, the lantern outside still giving off its reliable glow, and wait for Lily to catch her breath before going in. Ladies first. The tiny bell inside rings out, and I hold the door open for her, a smile and a polite nod being my reward before entering myself. As I step in behind her and wipe my feet, only a quick glance is necessary to notice the distinct lack of activity. The Shanghai doesn't seem to get much in the way of patronage, and today's no different. Only a couple of tables are occupied.
Hey man, sometimes, I mean it depends, but sometimes those restaurants that get like next to no people can be some of the best.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Like the little quiet spots, like the staff team
yeah.
tend to be a bit more attentive. They tend to do like really nice little special things because they're trying to drum up a bit more business, basically. Like
Yeah. There's
as a result, it just makes the
There's a part of that, and the other thing I was going to say is restaurants with tiny menus. You don't want to be going to a restaurant where they have like a fucking first thing that came to my mind was just like a King James version of a menu. It's just like thick, like loads of pages, just like we do every dish. That's always a bad sign.
Is it?
Yeah.
Or does it just mean that their chefs are incredibly talented?
No, because it means that they're trying to it means that their chef is trying to please too many people. And they're not specializing on one particular kind of food. You know, you want to go somewhere where they have like a couple of mains, there'll be something you like. And if you don't like it, well, tough, get out. You know, but you can be assured that, well, I'm being real, you know? It's one of the, I think it's one of the reasons why Paisanos, I think, is so popular is because they just do pizza, and B, they only do a couple of pizzas that all fit on an A3 piece of paper, you know, and they're like, sides, we have some salad for you, you know? We do ice cream for dessert, that's it. Like, simple. But what they do is really good. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that's a matter of opinion, but yes,
I mean,
I know what you mean.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Like,
And I agree with you.
yeah, good. I'm so glad we agree with each other. It's a wonderful thing when that happens.
Yes.
Um,
As I step in behind... Oh, have I read that already? I did read that already.
yeah, you did.
Summoned by the bells... Yeah, I did. Summoned by the bells ringing, a most expected person comes to greet us. Most expected?
Welcome to the Shanghai.
Thanks. Yuko looks chipper today. Trying to predict her moods is pretty hard, but it's a nice change from the norm.
Hello, Yuko.
Hey!
Good afternoon, you two.
Oh, that was a deep bow. She takes a deep bow, somewhat taken aback as she rights herself again and gets a better look at us.
What happened to you? You both look...
Her eyes drift towards the glass of the door behind us.
Oh dear.
Yup. We're inside now, at least. I think that's the most important thing.
I know. That cat. Something else. It's nice and cozy. You're lucky to be working inside today. Do you mind if I just message Rachel quickly to feed this fucking... Feed Jabba the Hutt? That's what I'm calling you from now on. Fucking Jabba.
Jabba the Fat.
Yeah. Jabba the cat. Jabba the Fat. Oh, dear.
Yeah. Jabba the Fat Cat.
Oh wana
Hey,
we wanga, bombo. That's what she does every fucking time.
Not vegetable oil.
Oh, can you feed this
Monster.
cat? She's screaming at me and scratching me. Well, stop her. She's just replied too early. Well, stop her from abusing me. This is my house.
Cat doesn't listen to anybody.
I live here. I have a right to not be scratched. Jeez.
True.
And anyway, she won't do anything about it because Rachel thinks it's funny. It's nice and cozy. You're lucky to be working inside today. It has been nice and quiet. I like days like this. Oh, wait, sorry. Is there anything you'd like? French vanilla tea, please.
I'll have the same. Oh, really?
Right. Coming right up.
She quickly skitters off with a determined look on her face, trying very hard not to forget her orders. It's not two. It's one thing twice. If nothing else, she is at least dedicated to her jobs. Also, why do you not have a pen and pad? You're working the floor. Where's your pen and pad? Have one.
Man.
To be fair, Yuko works two jobs. She's a bit of a scatterbrain. We know this. I lead Lily to an empty seat before the two of us settle down. As usual, there's a large difference between my exhausted flopping down into my seat and Lily's delicate sliding into hers, her cane set beside it. For a while, I just sit idly and watch the rain falling outside. The occasional person runs down the street trying to stay as dry as possible, hands often tightly gripping a rain-soaked umbrella. Lily sits just as quietly as I, her eyes closed as she intently listens to all that's happening. It's a comfortable, relaxing silence that exists between us, just the type that we'd so often shared together in the past months. Well, for Lily, at least. I can't help replaying the words of her sister in my mind, at times contrasting them to both our time spent together since I entered Yamaku, and to the way we've been since we started dating. No matter how much I try, I can't work Lily out. It's as if the harder I try to second-guess her emotions and her potential decision, the more difficult it becomes to reach a clear conclusion. It makes me doubt whether I'd ever really understood her. In the end, I'm going to have to ask, even though I very much want to avoid doing so. Ah, Hisso.
You seem quiet today, Hisso.
Really?
You seemed so enthusiastic about taking me out on a date. I'd assumed you had something specific you wanted to do.
No, not really. Just wanted to spend some time with you.
Oh, you sweetie. Is
You're
that
sick.
so?
Fine. There was one thing.
Uh-oh. A little grin finds its way onto Lily's face, her knowing full well that she's bested me. It makes what I want to say all the more awkward.
It was just... Akira and I were talking.
Oh?
What's with that tone?
You two do seem to get on well, don't you?
Yeah,
Well, I do think she's a pretty cool person to talk with. It'd be nice if any of the teachers were anything like her.
Cool.
for a moment I try to place her tone of voice, my mouth curling into a smirk as I realize it.
You're not jealous, are you?
I'm not jealous.
After her teasing me over such a thing on our first date, I don't feel too bad having a little laugh at her expense this time around. As we settle down, though, it's only a minor distraction from the real point of why I brought Lily here.
Don't worry, it was mostly just everyday stuff. That said, there was something Akira mentioned that I wanted to talk to you about. When you went to see your family in Inverness a while back, she said...
Akira told you about my family's summons, hasn't she?
Everything's very, like, professional with this girl. Like, she doesn't... It's not just that her family have asked her to come to Scotland. Like, she's being summoned. It's not just that they told each other how they feel, like they confessed. It's just, you know, it's very...
It's just
proper,
Japan, though.
very formal.
Like, that's how they be.
I think it might just be her.
Well, she is, like, supposed to be, if I'm thinking about anime tropes, she's supposed to be, like, the sort of, like, kind of like the lady, kind of like princessy kind of trope. So she would speak more formally and act more formally. You know, she drinks tea, you know.
It seems really weird to have, like, 18-year-olds in the 21st century talking about being summoned anywhere. I don't know, it's just very... Unless they're going to court.
Well, I mean, she's talking Japanese as well, so...
That too, yeah, okay.
Yeah, she would be...
Seconds tick by while I try to read Lily's face, an odd mixture of feelings written on it. She seems annoyed, but also somewhat confused.
Here.
Yuko tentatively slides our drinks onto the table, her presence oddly small. As she walks back to the counter after a quick, polite nod, I realise the air between me and Lily is thick, and our expressions are both somewhat pensive.
Even though she says I should lead my own life, she still interferes at the worst times.
I don't think you should blame Akira here. She's just looking out for you, and it's not like I can't understand her concern over this.
Lily's irritation gives way to an awkward and largely unsuccessful attempt to mask her feelings. She really doesn't deal well with being cornered on personal topics.
I know, but I just wanted some more time. I knew you'd have figured it out eventually, but...
You were intentionally hiding this from me? For how long were you planning to do so?
As I said, I simply wanted more time to think it through. I just wanted to be sure of my decision before telling you.
Well, what did you decide to do in the end?
I know what I want her to say,
Yeah.
but an awful feeling refuses to leave my gut.
My family does dearly want me to return to them, and Akira will be going as well. I could still teach as a career, whether it be here or there.
So, you're going. How long have you known? I already know you were asked when you first went to Scotland about a month ago.
Some time.
Oh god. My frustration very nearly boils over. The fact that she's done this affects me more than it should. For her not only to be leaving, but to have been actively hiding her own plans? from me, and after seeming for so long to be the one solid pillar of support and reliability I could depend on, it feels as if the foundation underneath me is suddenly shifting drastically, much faster than I can adapt to. Perhaps this isn't so much frustration as sheer unease.
Lily,
I'm sorry, I wanted to think this through completely. I wasn't trying to take advantage of you, please.
I know, Lily. I know. This is just really sudden. I guess this means that once you go, we'll be breaking up.
For one of the few times I've seen since I met her, she's genuinely lost for words. She doesn't look surprised. No doubt because the fact had dawned on her once she became sure of her decision, but rather she appears genuinely unsure of how to deal with the situation now that it's in front of her.
We could try pursuing a long-distance relationship. They're getting more and more common these days, after all. Yeah, you could. I'm trying to think of people who've been in I know a couple of people who've been in successful long-term relationships. That could happen. But
Long term and long distance aren't the same thing.
I know that.
Oh,
But-
you mean a long term long distance?
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
yeah.
Well, give them a medal, because it's tough,
I can imagine. But
you know? Even if
sometimes you just
she
know,
says
man.
it. Sometimes you just know. Yeah, sometimes you just know. Even as she says it, the tone of her voice gives away that she doesn't truly believe what she's saying. Lily is far too old-fashioned to be able to cope with a relationship without any kind of physical presence. And even I am, to an extent. All we would ever be to each other would be a voice from the other side of the world. They could write letters to each other, like in the Regency times.
Yeah, but then he'd
Dearest
have to
Al,
write
with the
Braille.
kids.
He'd have to learn Braille.
He can learn Braille. It's very romantic, you know?
Yeah,
And if he wants to be with her that much, he's probably going to have to learn Braille anyway.
yeah.
But anyway, in the end, trying to rationalize everything is futile. Any attempts to try and connect what's happening with the future or past just seems to get more difficult the more I concentrate. Those quiet moments when we just walked side by side, the precious time we spent with Hanako and Akira, the casual chatter we had during lunchtimes, the times we made love, the confessions of our feelings to each other, all pointless. All just a fleeting moment.
And
in our
this is
young
where
lives.
I disagree with him, because it was never pointless. It's character building, soul building. All right, that's what it's about. Anyway, that's my philosophy. Oh,
I'd have said it wasn't pointless for so many reasons,
Yeah,
including, I suppose, character building. But yeah, no, absolutely not pointless.
We're just two children pretending to be adults, aren't we?
Oh, fuck. All right, get off the cross, mate. After a long silence hangs in the air between us. The noise of the other patrons drinking and talking only makes the situation feel more strange and disconnected. Well, he's acting like he's the only person in the world who's ever been dumped before. Like, come on.
I mean,
Lily's face
It's the
remains
first time
low,
he's been
a
dumped.
dejected expression. It is the first time he's been dumped, so it probably will sting a lot.
yeah. I'm sorry, Hisso.
And as he says, he's kind of made himself very dependent on her, you know? Like, and for then, and you know, so obviously if she then just disappears, he's just gonna be like,
Well, now what do I do?
a simple apology, and no more. She's left entirely without any further response or comment. With a long sigh, I gather what's left of my thoughts and ask the final question I have for her.
When will you be going?
When? Oh
When?
shit! Oh, the
When, game?
when game. Oh,
I can't handle the anticipation.
Oh, fuck. Oh, okay. I can. I'll be leaving with Akira, so it'll be a little less than a week. Fuck.
The beginning of the summer holidays.
Just a little afterward, yes.
Oh no. Her tone is unusually slow and steady, her apologetic and depressed mood all the more written to her face as she tries to hide it in her voice. In the end, I can't even keep my promise of going to Tanabata with her before she leaves. I look down, seeing my face reflected in the by now lukewarm cup of neglected tea sitting in front of me. I really thought I'd left this kind of expression behind. For a while, I just stare down into the still surface, trying to sort through my emotions to get at what course of action I should take, whether it be right now or in the future. But just as before, the effort is wasted. I glance up to see Lilly gently sipping her cool tea without complaint, her face drawn and shoulders slumped. She looks to be deep in thought, too, a strangely cold atmosphere coming between us as we isolate ourselves to mull things over. Even as Lily's cup slowly empties, mine remains untouched. It's a long time before I notice the rain dying down outside, and the few other patrons of this Shanghai having left. The chill of the rapidly darkening evening permeates the dormitory hallways. While trudging down the corridor to my room, I see an unwelcome movement from up ahead.
Oh, not this fucking loser.
Yeah, sure enough. The opening of the door opposite mine heralds the arrival of a bespectacled Kenji.
Hey, my man, what? Whoa, my dude. You look awful, I think. You okay?
He really has a knack for making any situation better.
I don't really want to go into it. It's late.
Okay, that's cool. If you ever want to talk about it, I'm, here.
I look at him for a moment before surrendering my stern front and awkwardly scratching the back of my neck, embarrassed by my standoffish response to him.
Thanks, Kenji.
Hey, it's cool. That's what friends are for, right?
Yeah, you're right. See ya.
Oh, Kenji.
See ya.
I open the door to my own dorm room and close it behind me as he quickly waves me off. The solid thud the door makes against the doorframe sounds out a final call for the life I've led since coming to Yamaku. I just stand in my darkened room, fruitlessly attempting to work out what I should do from this point onwards. Just what should I do?
That's probably a good place to end the episode, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh. Damn. We'll carry on with this nonsense in the next episode.
Yeah, hope you guys liked it. If you did, you can like the video and subscribe to the channel. Leave us a comment talking about how heartbreaking this all is. Follow us on social media if you need support. At least for this, related to this.
Yeah,
we can probably help you. But
yeah,
you need support on anything else, other people can help you if you don't mind.
Yeah, we'll do the virtual equivalent of going down to the park and sitting on the swings. Just having a chat.
Absolutely.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, the virtual equivalent of tea and brownies.
I've sunk 21 hours into this game. Anyway, see you all next time.
Yeah, you have. See ya.
Bye.
Part-timers, we do this part-time. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe.